I just took the whatchamacallit off my head. Hey, how you doing? Um, I'm gonna talk about news and politics in a minute, but before I do, hey, welcome to the channel, love. Before I do, my name's Tanelsia. Um, Author, poet, musician, lingerie designer, design merchandise. Period. Uh, yeah. One of the people in my poetry group, um, called International Poetry Whore, had a question for me. And I've been asking him some questions because I'm going to be doing interview questions on him later on. But I wanted to answer his question, his concern. Um, we were talking about the music industry and what's going on with it now, and what that means for us as African American artists who do poetry or R&B or sing or hip hop, things of that nature. And I was writing some suggestions for him in regards to his question. And I said to myself, well, it might benefit you as well. So I'm going to get into it real quick. I'm going to go through things, and then I'll leave it up to the end of February. And then if you want more, patreon.com/replenish7 is where you can find more at. When I first started as an artist doing poetry, I had went to the Madam Walker Theater, and I seen people performing poetry and singing there. And I said, you know what? I got all happy and bubbly inside and was feeling things. And I said, I would like to do that. Now, I didn't start right away. It took me some time to get comfortable in my skin. Um, at that time, they had a poetry set. I want to say it was off of 19th and Central, called Midtown in Indianapolis, right across the street from the Domino's Pizza that is still there. First, it was Midtown Cafe, and then Deanne ran it, who's over Leak magazine. And so that's how I got started in my poetry. So Dad would get me poetry books and things of that nature, and I would take them and I would read them and I would keep them by my bedside, and I would start reading things like Alice Walker and things like that, and Toni Morrison and Terry McMillan, and start diving into my African American authors. So yeah, my poetry journey in Indianapolis started at going to a play at the Madam Walker Theater, and the name of the play was Organic Soul, and it had like Alan Imagery and Sunray Phoenix and people of that nature. So that's when I fell in love with poetry. So I'm going to be covering mastering the independent music business, strategies to save time, money, and build success. I started from scratch, and I don't want anybody else to have to go through those lessons that I went through, not knowing, fumbling around in the dark toward ecstasy. So when I wrote this to the young gentleman in my International Poetry Whore group on for this article. Okay. All right. So another platform exploring for marketing is HubSpot. If you decide to use HubSpot, to be aware that while they offer a free setup, many features are available a la carte. A tech representative will likely follow up via email within a few days to assist you. The reason I chose high level marketing, a lot of these websites out here do not market. Um, and HubSpot has a lot of categories to choose from. So probably best to speak with a representative. But if you are obscure and no one really knows you as an artist, if marketing is not something that you are used to or familiar with, or if that is something that you're uncomfortable with as far as self-promotion, you're going to have to get rid of that. You're going to have to market. That is a business. Music is a business. Books are a business. Artwork is a business. All of that is business. You must market yourself. Currently, I'm using Substack to capture emails, but my plan is to transition to high level once I have funds coming in from taking my state test for life insurance. I'm not a big fan of piecing together platforms or unexpected cost. I hate pop-up cost. You visit a lot of these sites, you get on there, and the next thing you know, they got pop-up cost for you. I need a flat fee. Tell me what my flat fee is. That way the flat fee can be paid on a monthly and it's not outside of that. I've gone to some websites, you put in stuff and they say it's one price, and the next thing you know, you're trying to check out and you got a whole receipt full of what they think they're about to charge you. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I'm not a fan of piecing together platforms or unexpected costs, so I've focused on finding a system that automates, delegates, and centralizes marketing with transparent pricing. High Level does that. To go to one of their seminars, it was a 3-day seminar. They were very informative. And I will probably go to a few more in the future because, anytime you go to a seminar, you learn something different that you might be able to incorporate into your daily. All right. For those seeking to generate income while pursuing creative careers, I highly recommend selling one-on-one consultations. This approach doesn't rely on mass appeal, but instead focuses on attracting a smaller invested audience willing to pay for high-quality services. It's a method that emphasizes quality over quantity, sidestepping the financial instability that sometimes comes with chasing viral fame. Grant writing is another skill worth exploring. While I haven't seen many grants awarded specifically for music, I've seen success with consultation bookstores and similar businesses. Platforms like Skip can provide insights into past winners and types of ventures that receive funding. If you go this route, be sure to keep grant funds separate from personal finances by using a dedicated account. The music industry comes with significant upfront costs, including beats and studio time, songwriting and copyrights, merchandise and CD, photos and media kits, management fees, and travel expenses. If you're considering working with a record company, know that they often expect artists to have an established audience beforehand. For this reason, many creatives choose to remain independent and retain full ownership of their work. Staying unsigned allows for greater creative and financial control, and some of the most respected names like poet OG TaMara E and poet Just Will have built successful careers as independent artists. If your goal is to break into the music industry, it's crucial to expand beyond your current network. Poetry events and community gatherings are great for connecting, but industry professionals are often looking for music that stands out in unique places like strip clubs with tracks under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I hope these suggestions are helpful, and I'm always here if you'd like to discuss them further. Feel free to reach out anytime to explore these platforms or refine your strategy. Let's talk about, all right, so resources for marketing growth. HubSpot, High Level, Sam Cart. Financial and business strategies, one-on-one consultations, grant writing, separate business funds. Insights on the music industry, independent control, underground artist inspiration. Music marketing tips. Additional suggestions, community examples, research former grant write winners. Okay. All right. So those are actionable categories, making it easy to reference. Let's talk about upfront cost. I had no idea what the cost of items were when I first started doing music. Had no idea what a track cost to put together. Yeah, it was quite an experience. And then the first time, the people really didn't. I went downtown. I don't even remember the name of the building at that time for my first recording. And the people, even though I was in there working with them, they really didn't. They didn't really care for me. I was paying for work, but they really didn't. They were young. I don't know if that would be an excuse, but it was not a very positive first experience. Now, my second experience when I finally got to recording, that was with a different group of people closer to my side of town. That was a pleasant experience. But my first time going in, it was hell. Let's talk about upfront cost for music. So cost per beat is normally 100 to 5,000, depending on whether you buy exclusive rights or lease. So let's say, for instance, you've got 9 tracks at $100 each. You're looking at 900 to maybe like $45,000. Okay. Um, Hourly rates are normally $50 to $250 per hour. Varies by location and studio and reputation. Now, I have never paid uh, hourly. It's normally a set fee when I go into the studio. So if I'm going to record, I might get like 3 hours and just a set amount. Yeah, depending upon who you are working with. And then you pre-book. Some sites just have it on there and you pre-book. Studio time, master ingredient. So let's say you got 9 tracks starting at 50. If it's 3 to 5 hours per track, you're looking at $1,350 to $11,250. So featured artists and vocals are extra cost. So for a guest artist, you may pay anywhere from like $500 to $10,000. I've never paid $500 for a guest artist. The most I've paid for an artist to be in the studio or to appear live if I have a set is $150. Okay. But the normal fee is $500, but I knew them. They were longtime friends. So guest artists, $500 to $10,000 per feature, depending on artist popularity. So the total for 1 or 2 featured artists might be anywhere from $500 to $20,000. All right. Songwriting services. I write my own songs. I've never had anybody write my songs. But if you were to have someone, I write songs for other people if you need me to. So songwriting services, $100 to $1,000 per song. If hiring a professional songwriter, total for 9 songs, $900 to $9,000. They kind of on the low end for that. Must be on the low end for somebody just beginning in songwriting services, because that's not what I charge. So, okay, copyrights, registration, $35 to $85 per song with the U.S. Copyright Office. Total for 9 songs, 315 to 765. When I do, that's if you do the songs individually with the Copyright Office. What I normally do is if I record, I'll wait until the whole entire album is complete. I put it under groups instead of individual. That way I only have to pay one copyright fee, which saves me on those other songs, so I don't have to do them all individually. And they have the list when I send it to copyright, and when copyright sends you the list back, it has a list of songs on it. By the way, I was sick yesterday. I'm feeling much better tonight. I was having like a little coughing spell and blowing nose spell yesterday, so I thank y'all if y'all tuned in and put up with me. That video I did, it appears that I went mute at 120. So when I finish this video and start back with the government video, I will be starting at mental health, which is at 120. All right. CDs, physical copies. Cost per CD, printing and packaging, you're looking at about, if you find somebody in the hood, you're looking at about $1. If not, you're looking at $3 per CD. For bulk orders, 500 plus, total for 500 CDs. So like you're gonna spend about $500 to $1,500. It might be up since then. We haven't even talked about artwork or any of that. I used to pay people to do my artwork before I started doing graphic design myself. And graphic design work for like an album cover and the front and the back side would be like $175, and that's just pretty much because they knew me. But it can definitely cost more than that. But yeah, I do my own now as far as artwork. Or sometimes, even though I paint, I'm not as skilled as some other people when it comes to painting artwork on an actual real canvas. So yeah, I don't mind paying for artwork if I'm going to use it for, like on a real painting, if I'm going to use it for an album, which is really dope. Yeah. Okay. Merchandise, t-shirts, hat, posters, etc. $5 to $20 per item, depending on quality and quantity. Total for merchandise, 500 units, 2,500 to 10,000. If you're gonna be going around the country, here, internationally, whatever you want to do, you're gonna need some merch. It was a pet peeve of mine to be at a show, and it's a phenomenal artist, and I am hooked on the performance that they have given. And I want to buy a CD or I want to buy merchandise. So they have came from their home state all the way out of town to Timbuktu, a couple of states over, and they don't have any merchandise. And I'm trying to I'm trying to listen to it in the car on the way home. I don't even know why you're playing. So make sure you have merchandise on you. Now, when I did do one of my albums, and I was passing out CDs, one of the persons said to me, they said you lucky I even got a CD player in my car with technology nowadays, but they did have a CD player and they told me they enjoyed it. So anyway, photos, professional photo shoot. Well, you need, professional photo shoot, 300 to 5,000, depending on the photographer's experience and location. Total for the photo shoot, 300 to 5,000. I'm a girly girl, so I like boudoir photo shoots and videography. But if you are not a girly girl, that's okay. A regular photo shoot will work. Okay. Performances, booking live shows. Live performance fees $200 to $2,000 per performance, depending on venue size, location, and audience. Total for 5 performances $1,000 to $10,000. When Ice Lounge was around, some of you may not remember Ice Lounge. If you wanted to rent out the space um, for the night, it was like $1,500. $1,500 you paid up front, and you got to keep anything that came through the door. The Ugly Monkey, I don't even know if the Ugly Monkey is still around in Indianapolis, but they had the fee when I had a show there, it was like, I want to say it was like, but I didn't rent out the whole place. I made sure to pick a day during the week. I think we turned up on a Tuesday, if I can remember correctly. And it was 70-30. So whatever happened at the door that came in, I got 70 and they got 30%. Okay. All right. And I think it was like I want to say it was like a 200 deposit, something like that. But that's because it was during a weekday. All right. So website development, 500 to 5,000 for design, hosting, and customizations. Ongoing cost 10 to 50 per month for hosting maintenance, and total for websites is 500 to 5,000. Skip has right now, if you sign up, you get a month free for a website for their standard sites. That's all I know. I don't know anything else about that. And then after that, it's like $9 a month. Let's see. So their trial is 1 month. Media kits, photos, bio, press kit. Cost for media kit is $500 to $2,500. Is which is and what that is for your media kit. It lists, it's like a biography, and not a biography. It's like a resume. Explains what you've done as an artist. Like if you're an author, you put your books and stuff, and if you've done interviews, you put that, and if you've had any engagements, you put that in your media kit. They want to know, when you have a media kit, what have you done in the media? It's just what it explains. Just like it is. Just what it sounds like. Valerie Love. ValerieLove.com, BALERIELOVE.com. At the bottom of her webpage, if you click on Media Kit, it downloads her Media Kit. Real easy, very pleasant to look at, very bold, very organized, chronological structure, last time I checked. So that's an example of a wonderful media kit. I can help with a media kit. Absolutely, if you need me to. All right. Travel for shows, performances, or video shoots. Now, travel expenses, flights, accommodation, transport, 500 to 5,000 per trip, depending on location and duration. Total for trip, 1,500 to 15,000. That's not across the United States, darling. That is just to go to one place. Because by the time you have all that up front, and then like I'm talking to someone now, like I was featured in one of their magazines, hip hop magazine. Like when they ask you to perform, they want you to put money down to perform, like if you're going out of state for like contest and stuff. So some of the prices have been anywhere from like maybe 1,500 to like three. I don't think I've seen any over like 300. So you want to make sure to include things like that in travel expenses. And then also, if you're carrying merchandise with you on a plane or anything, they charge per luggage. And then also, excuse me, then also you want to make sure you have things insured in case anything happens. Last time I went on a trip, I didn't have anything insured. They almost lost my backpack. This is an expensive backpack. I mean, I had all kind. It was full of books. I ain't talking like cheap books. I'm talking like I got books like Vanessa Del Rio, um, 50 Years of Slightly Slutty up in this backpack. I didn't think I was gonna get that backpack back. It took them a couple of days, but they went and they found my backpack. So I had those in there. I had Valerie Love books in there. I had me some witchy books in there. I had my books in there. I had carried all my books down there. I had a few left that I hadn't given out to the crew that I had went to go see, and a couple of CDs. So my backpack was full of merchandise. So I'm so glad they found my backpack. But you want to make sure. It taught me a very important lesson. Insure, insure if you're taking items with you. Okay. Now, so low end estimate, we're looking at $11,965. High end estimate, $295 and $295.15. All right, so website maintenance and marketing cost. Domain name costs 10 to 50 per year, depending on domain provider and name choice. Website hosting, basic hosting shared, $3 to $10 per month. Premium hosting, VPS dedicated, $20 to $100 per month. Higher bandwidth and more control. Total hosting for a year, $36 to $1,200. Web design and development, do-it-yourself website builders, Wix, Squarespace, $12 to $15 per month. Includes hosting and templates. Now, I did look up the other day when I got a hit from, I want to say Mark, who works with the industry. And I checked out, close, I was listening to Tabitha Politics. And he sent, the website he uses was real simple and one that I've got to look more into. Let me go there real quick. It's taking it a minute. Maybe not. Let's try something else. Let's see here. Let's do that. You didn't need to know coding or anything to set up the web to give you. It's called Glide. Excuse me, y'all. All right. Let me open it up. Very great in the living room. Let's see. It's a beautiful page. All right, so Glide. I guess I could screen share. Let me see. GlideApps.com. Create web apps that adapt automatically, function naturally, and look beautiful across mobile, tablet, and desktop with no extra work. www.glideapps.com. No code app builder. It doesn't look like it does any marketing. Also called Lloyd, Lloyd. Okay, so it allows you to turn all your existing data, spreadsheets, database, you name it, into powerful mobile and web applications. It's called a progressive web app. All right, so it's got some pros and cons, but you can read up on that. Now, do-it-yourself website builders, Wix, Squarespace, $20 to $50 per month, including hosting and templates. Custom design freelancer agency, $500 to $10,000 for a professional custom built site. When I had my spoken musical metaphor site, it's a long name, isn't it? I had it for about 2 years, but I don't feel like it resonated with people because not a lot of people signed up or would email me. And but when I first got it built, before I let it go, it was like $500 to $600 when I got my website built. I didn't know anything about website building at that time. My, how far I've come. Um, didn't know anything about designs or website building. But when I finally got the website, I would go in there and I would play around and I would change things and do things to learn. So, not completely ignorant now. I do have a little skill set behind me, but yeah. Total design and development, 500 to 10,000. E-commerce integration of selling merch or merchandise, cost $0 to $50 per month for Spotify, WooCommerce, etc. Total for e-commerce setup 1 year, 0 to 600. Don't do any of that. When I first started, I went to Etsy to use them to sell my merchandise. And they charge like, it's not too much, but it gets to adding up. They charge like 20 cents per post. And then they take a percentage. I want to say it's like 3.5%. I think off the top. Don't quote me on that, of each sale, and then they hold a retainer till we've been with them a while, in regards to your sales. Baby, I have found merch on demand. Okay. Amazon merch on demand. Teespring, which is now known as Spring. Redbubble. There is no need. Now, the only thing I like about, there's really no need, if you don't want to pay to have merchandise on a platform. Unless you're obscure and you need to market. What I will say about Etsy, even if I didn't make a sale, baby, Etsy's marketing team, even though they have given me a little bit of an issue, but their marketing team, be cutting up. They do an excellent job of marketing. Yeah. I've met some pretty dope people on Etsy when I have made my sales that have helped me in some of my endeavors. Okay. They like them naughty pics I was posting. I haven't posted any naughty pics. I cleaned up my page on Etsy. So the only thing I have on there is merch for sale in regards to things like t-shirts or gowns, suits. I think I got a couple of books over there that I'm selling, I believe, in case people want autographs. But my hot items were the naughty pictures, though that's what sold on Etsy. Yeah. So e-commerce integration if selling merchandise. All right. So yeah, it's good for marketing and reaching people everywhere. Most of my sales came from overseas, were international. Ongoing website maintenance. Basic maintenance is $50 to $200 per month for updates, security patches, etc. Total for maintenance 1 year, you're looking at $600 to $2,400. SSL certificate, security for transactions, cost $0 to $200 per year. Some hosting services include SSL for free, so the total $0 to $200. Marketing cost. Social media advertising, paid ads, cost per platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., $5 to $50 per day for ads. Total for 1 month, $150 to $1,500. Total for 6 months, $900 to $9,000. Google Ads, search and display network, cost per click, CPC, 20 cents to $2 per click, depending on competition in your niche. Total for 1 month, 1,000 clicks, $200 to $2,000. Total for 6 months, $1,200 to $12,000. Email marketing platform, MailChimp Convert Kit. So I did have MailChimp for about a year. I paid like I want to say it was like $350. Well, yeah. It was recommended by somebody who was an Amazon bestseller. In her book, Amazon, How to Become an Amazon Bestseller by Joyce Licorice. And so I got the MailChimp, but I should have really waited till I had a firm audience for my books to do that, to get the MailChimp. I should have waited a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see. Email mark. Okay, so free plans from small list up to 500 subscribers. Paid plans $10 to $300 per month for list over 500 subscribers or advanced features. Total for 1 year $120 to $600. Influencer marketing. Micro influencers, 10K to 100K followings. You're looking at $100 to $1,000 per post or shout out. So I'm considered a micro influencer. So I have where as a micro influencer. So like if I do a post shout out, if I do a story post and a reel and a review, that's $250. That's for all the normal social media platforms that I'm on because of my following, which includes Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, Snapchat, and YouTube. Okay. That is just to do the review. And then if I do like a live interview as a micro influencer, it starts at 500. So I'm considered a micro influencer due to my following. But there are micro and macro. There are also beginners right under 10K. But yeah, micro and macro. And then the macro would be considered 100K to 1 million followers, and they charge anywhere from like 1,000 to 10,000 per post or shout out. So the total can be anywhere from like 2,000 to 10,000 or whatever the macro influencer would like to charge. Search engine optimization. I didn't learn about search engine optimization till later in the game after I got my Etsy page. So when I did my tags, I had to learn what the best tag was for me to use in regards to search engine optimization, which is also known as SEO. Cost per month, they've got some great websites you can Google. 500 to 5,000 depending on the agency or freelancer. Total can be anywhere from like 3,000 to 30,000. So you just do your research, find out which one works best for you in regards to search engine optimization. Content creation, blogs, videos, graphics. Once you do your music, you can't just sit it there. Like I said at the beginning, you must market. You have put out a book, you have put out music, you have put out artwork. Baby, you are now officially a salesperson. Okay? Salespeople market. So market via blog post or articles, market via videos like YouTube, TikTok while we got it. Don't forget we discussed capture because all of these websites may not stay around. You need to find a way to capture information for your audience. If anything happens and they flip a switch and all social media is gone, you still need to be able to get in touch with the people who love your work. So cost per video, YouTube, TikTok, 500 to 5,000, depending on quality and production needs, whether you do it yourself, whether you have somebody else do it, whether you decide to do the thumbnail yourself or have somebody create the artwork for your thumbnail. Some people pay to have people create artwork for their thumbnail because they're trying to reach a certain avatar, not just anybody, but a certain avatar that they're wanting to talk to draw that person in. And so very important what you use for your thumbnail. Okay. because you're not looking to call everyone. You're looking to call that particular person that you're speaking with that is just like you to your creation. So total for content creation for 6 months can be like $1,500 to $30,000. So what I was told is Mr. Beast pays to have somebody create his thumbnail. Isn't it great? All right. Media kit design, $300 to $2,500. Press release and PR services. If you do it hood style, you're looking at $100. I know when I was starting off and I was talking to one of my friends who was doing Beyond Music, she was like, if you need me to do your media kit, let me know and I can send it to like 5 companies a week. I want to say that she quoted me for like, I think it was like 50. I think it was like $50. So it just depends. You got to, and she's very professional. Beautiful at what she does as far as event organization, cooking, things of that nature. So you just got to find someone who does it. And then I would be trying to get on some podcasts as well. Total estimated website and marketing cost. So low end estimate website $536 to $1,800. Marketing setup $1,200 to $2,000. Total low end $1,736 to $3,800. High end estimate website setup $12,500 plus. Custom design, professional development, premium hosting, and e-commerce. So marketing setup, $30,000 to $50,000, extensive ads, influencer marketing, SEO, and content creation. Total high end, you're looking at $42,500 to $62,500 plus. So the key takeaways for a basic setup and targeted marketing, you could expect to spend around $1,700 to $4,000 for the first year. If you aim for high-end setup with professional design, advanced marketing strategies, and content creation, the cost could be as high as $60,000 or more. Costs can be adjusted based on money flow, focusing more on organic growth, social media, and email marketing. If you are looking to adjust upfront cost, the key is balancing quality and captured leads with what you're comfortable investing. Remember, it is an investment. Let's talk about the body count, baby. Label versus no label. The number of followers a record label expects can vary depending upon the label's size, genre, focus, and overall strategy. However, here are some general guidelines. Artist. Labels like Universal, Sony, and Warner. See, these are things I had no clue of in the beginning. These are things I learned later on down the line. So often they look for artists with 100,000 plus followers across platforms. They focus on strong engagement rates like likes, comments, shares, more than just follower count. Independent labels tend to prioritize talent and uniqueness over follower count, but having 10,000 to 50,000 followers is often a good starting point. They value niche, loyal audiences that align with the label's brand. General specific trends in genres like pop and hip hop, higher following counts are more critical, often 50,000 plus. For jazz, blues, or niche genres, labels may focus more on live performance, presence, or critical acclaim. Engagement over followers. A small, highly engaged audience, 10,000 followers with 10% engagement, is often more appealing than a large and active one. Labels often look at metrics like Spotify streams, YouTube views, and TikTok virality as well. Starving artist versus a fed artist. Many artists signed to labels struggle financially due to the way contracts and fees are structured. Here's why this happens and what to consider. Why artists make little money after signing. Advance repayment. I've watched a few different artists. Jade, don't walk away, boy. TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls. I was just watching Betty Davis documentary the other day. So all these artists ended up being starving artists. Yeah. Labels often give artists an advance, which is essentially a loan. The artist must repay this from their earnings before they see any royalties. If the album or single doesn't generate enough revenue, the artist remains in debt to the label. High fee label deductions cost for marketing, production, distribution, and even things like music videos or touring expenses. These fees can significantly reduce an artist's earnings, leaving little profit. Reminds me of Toni Braxton, because she got bankrupt. Okay. Unfavorable royalty rates. Typical royalty rates for new artists are 10 to 15% of net sales, meaning the label keeps the majority. Streaming payouts are even smaller, often fractions of a cent per stream. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because a lot of people operate blindly. They go on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I don't even know if Twitter X pays you anything. I'm just going to throw them on in there just in case. Twitter, Likey. Yeah, vocal.media, because that's a platform I love writing on. Have you ever sat and figured out the math for you able to get paid a penny from a platform? Don't worry, I'm not gonna wait. I challenge you to sit and do the math for each platform in regards to how much free content you have to put out before you get paid. It reminds me of the cotton field, and I call it no pay or low pay work. Because you would be in the cotton field from sun up to sundown with a book bag and possibly a baby on your hip. And you'd have, 13 cents? Not even enough to buy flour once you left the field. That's what this is. Welcome to the cotton field. That's exactly what social media is. We want you to put out as much high content as you can, baby, without pay. And then once you have met our standards, you may receive no pay or low pay. Welcome to the cotton field. Okay. So we have talked about unfavorable royalty rates, streaming payouts, and even smaller or often fractions of a cent per stream. Okay. So when P. Diddy was telling them, I'll give you people who were on his show and they were doing the contest and things of that nature, and he was taking their music and telling them they could get paid off the streams and stuff, they're not getting paid that much. Go do the math. We're going to do math. Okay. Artists are recoupment clauses. Artists are often required to recoup all costs before they earn any additional money. This includes advances, production, and promotional expenses. 360 deals. Many modern contracts are 360 deals where the label takes a percentage of everything and artist earns, including merchandise, touring, and endorsements. What can artists do to avoid these pitfalls? Negotiate contracts carefully. Work with an experienced entertainment attorney to review terms and avoid unfair clauses. That's some more money because attorneys are not cheap. Unless you have like maybe Legal Shield or something. If you're talking attorney fees, you're automatically 500 to 1,000 walking in the door. Okay. Yeah, attorneys are not cheap. I have someone here. Had to rewind that last statement. Cotton field. Yes, it's like working in the cotton field. You don't want to work in the cotton field unless you've got a niche down pack just starting. If you got a niche down, unless you've got a niche down pack that you know is going to bring in high revenue, like a dating show or something, or of that nature. But if you are a beginning artist or a beginning creator, and you're just trying to be on here going viral, don't forget once you hit that viral mark, you're gonna have to stay at that viral mark um, to keep the funds going in. But they don't pay. They pay eventually, but the amount of content that you have to put out on these platforms to even get one red cent, it's like working in the cotton field. Until you've got your niche down pack, you're working in the cotton field for free. Absolutely. Thank you for asking, um, DeSezi. I hope I said your name right, darling. All right. So negotiate contracts carefully. The next thing is build independent revenue streams. Retain control of merchandise, direct to fan platform, Patreon, live shows, things of that nature. Consider independent releases, platforms like TuneCore, DistroKid, or United. Masters allow artists to release music while keeping most of their profits. I use DistroKid. Now, when I did have an issue with them when I switched my phone number and we went back and forth for a moment. I did not get rid of them, however. I did end up keeping them. And we did end up getting my phone number changed where I didn't have any more issues. So I'm still with DistroKid for the long term. It's a very easy, as long as you don't run into any issues, it's a very easy to use platform. Only takes a few moments. So like if you already have your MP3 together and they're mastered and you have your artwork, real easy to do the pixels and everything. You just upload it. And next thing you know, you're live. Beautiful. So I've been using them for about, I want to say the first album I put out with them was, this is 2019 is when I put my first album out on DistroKid, Supreme Rain Love Redefined. So yeah, the only issue I had was when I changed phone numbers and I went back and forth with the manager through a few emails, but eventually we got it. Okay. Let's see. Grow and monetize a loyal fan base. So a strong, engaged audience can lead to better streaming numbers, merchandise sales, and opportunities for brand partnerships. Um, for my fan base, I did a lot of heavy networking on Facebook. So when I started, I had like 2,500 on my Facebook page, almost 25. So now I think I'm over like 5,000 on one page. Then I've got, I think, like 2,000 on my fan page. And then I got like 130 in my poetry group. But I'm real, I'm working on other things. So, like building my business. And I understand that um, things like books and music and merch and the easiest way I can explain it, those items are the side items on your plate. It is not the meat. It is the vegetables. It is the mashed potatoes. It is the salad. Um, if you end up getting paid real good off of it, it can be dessert, but it is not your main meal until you've been in the game for some time and you've gotten uh, people behind you and consistent money coming in till you've got your audience picked out. So, um, but it is not the meat yet. We want it to eventually be the meat. We hope for it to be the meat, but until you get where you need to be, it is the side item. So the best way to bring in um, money from your craft would be to teach it. Um, you have a certain skill set that not everyone else has. So you can write songs for other people. Um, you hear certain things in music, so you can help and assist with music production. If you are able to do composition, those are things that you can teach. Oh, you like that? You done went and found my playlist. Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, DeCesar. Um, yes, DeCesar said it sounds good. He's listening to my track "I Am Woman" off my Supreme Reign Love Redefined album. Um, I'll talk about that real quick. Then I'm gonna go back to staying educated on industry standards. When I first created that, I had already created the poetry at Poetry Sets, and I was performing it at Poetry Sets Live. But when I decided to actually do the track, I call that my war cry poem. And I was doing laundry one day, and I heard the birds chirping. I said, "My gosh, that screech sounds like it needs to be on this track." And so I called up the producer and I said, I recorded the bird. No clue. I don't know nothing about no birds. I just knew I liked the sound of the bird and the bird needed to be on the track. Had no clue what the bird was. Took a picture of the bird, put the bird on my video recorder, um, hit up my producer. I said, "Listen, I need the bird on this track." So the bird is a sparrow. I said, "Oh." And so it had a certain cry, and I wanted that cry in the track. And so that's how, yep, spoken word style. That's correct, poetry. And so that's how the bird got onto that track. I had somebody, I was working out at, what's the name? LA, LA Fitness at the time. And a young gentleman hit on me. Tall, dark skinned, handsome African brother. And he was talking a lot of smack. And I had just got out the studio recording and doing my masters. And I sent him the track. And immediately he hit me back and he said, I am so sorry. He said, I apologize. And he let me know he was married. Thank you, DeCeasy. um, and we didn't keep in touch after that. But that's how powerful the track was, because I had to a point I was tired of a few things. And, sometimes people like to play games, but he didn't play any more games after he heard that track. He was like, oh, this is not the one. No, I'm not. All right. So stay educated on industry standards. Okay. We talked about grow and monetize a loyal fan base, leading to better streaming numbers, merchandise sales, and opportunities for brand partnerships. Stay educated on industry standards. Thank you, darling. Okay. Understand contracts, royalty structures, and creative rights can avoid exploitation. Cost of knowledge. The knowledge shared in this letter is incredibly valuable as it provides practical, actionable advice rooted in experience. If we were to estimate its worth, here are a few factors to consider. Let's see. So, consulting rates, professional worth. I would say these are on the low end, but they're still not that low. It's a beginning point, and if you have zero, and you can at least look and see what the possible outcome is if you are to do a few of these. So, consulting rates, business consultants or coaches in marketing, grant writing, or the music industry typically charge 100 to 500 per hour for tailored advice. The depth and breadth of suggestions could easily equate to a 2 to 3 hour session, valuing it at 200 to 1,500. Workshops and courses, many platforms charge 500 to 2,000 for similar knowledge shared in webinars, online courses, or one-on-one training programs. Music industry advice, specialized music industry consultants focused in marketing, contracts, and career growth often cost 150 to 1,000 plus per session, especially for experts. Intrinsic worth, um, time saved, like my guidance. So knowing this knowledge saves you countless hours of research, of trial and error, which could be worth thousands to someone serious about advancing their career. Opportunity creation, if implement even one of my strategies, high ticket consults or grant writing, future client could generate thousands in income from that advice alone. At the beginning, I said it's wonderful to do the poetry and the music and whatever artwork or creativity that you are putting your energy into, but you want to make sure you have something, a high ticket item to bring in funds. So consults, courses, um, things of that nature, even retreats. Um, if you're already doing retreats, that might be something to consider. And then memberships. Some people like memberships. I do memberships for like my adult pages, but it's with the memberships. It's a lot of high content, but at least you're getting paid for your content if you do a membership, um, versus something like social media and trying to go viral. So, but most memberships do want you to be high content, okay? Versus the other categories like the one-on-one consult, exclusive, one-on-one, or like a course. Uh, I would have like maybe a small course. I would stand it at maybe like a high rate and then have maybe like 5 to 10 people in it. And then if you do current retreats, you don't want a whole bunch of people at it. You want to make it exclusive. You want to focus on quality, high price, quality, um, low quantity. You want to give an experience. All right. Networking and mentorship. Beyond the resources, encouraging and willingness to mentor have immense value, which is often considered priceless by those on the receiving end. Okay. So it can be valued at like maybe 500 to 200,000, depending on the perspective. However, true worth always lies in the outcome after it has been put to use by the future client. So this I consider like a high value, no cost experience review. In it provides expertise, actionable steps, mentorship, no cost because I'm giving it for free right now for the experience. It'll probably be up all of February, and then I'll put it on my Patreon page at that time, patreon.com /replenish7. Okay. And I believe, so things that I talked about for the live were platforms and tools for marketing, just a brief review. HubSpot, free setup with a la carte features, excellent for marketing automation. Substack, great for email capturing and building a newsletter audience. High level, a comprehensive tool for marketing automation and customer management. Samcart, recommended for selling products, services online, especially with a large existing audience. Revenue strategies focus on selling high-ticket items like one-on-one consults or classes for steady quality-based income. Avoid over-reliance on likes, comments, or viral fame. The cotton field, it's easy, which we discussed. Then build a small invested audience for more consistent returns. Alternative opportunities, grant writing, although rare for music, grants for consultations, bookstores, and other ventures are achievable. Research platforms like Skip for success stories. On Skip, they do have where you can click on all the people who have won grants. You can go through the list and see what type of grants they have, and then maybe come up with something that you would like to do on your own. I do help with grant writing. Get with me on my Patreon page, and we can work together. It's not that hard. It's real simple. Seems like a lot starting off. It is time consuming. But once you have learned how to grant write, baby, some of these grants, like I filed for a $10,000 grant the other day. The grant writing took me, because I knew what I was doing, it was like, was it 3 questions? It was 2. They told me to get a business proposal together. That's what took me a minute. So I had a business proposal, but it had been a year since I had worked on the business proposal. So I went to see what they offered for their business proposal, and they asked a series of questions. And so I copied the questions. I put them in my Word document. I went and I answered the questions real quick with all the information that I had. And then I took the template from Tori Roach. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She's a retail distributor, and she has a grant program. So I took the template from her one-page business proposal. Excuse me, still didn't know my code. And what I had done for the grant for her, I just copied it over and I answered the questions, but instead of the questions, submitting the grant proposal with the questions, I used the template in a resume format with her subheadings. And so it took me about an hour and a half. And I submitted the first question and the second question. So wasn't that bad. And then they got the 1K grants all the time. And those are normally only 2 questions as well. And that takes less than 60 seconds. And they have those twice a week. So, yeah, real simple. Let's see. Understand upfront costs for music creation and marketing. Beat, studio time, songwriting, copyrights, etc. Record labels expect artists to already have an audience, so ownership and independence are often preferable. I gave examples of successful independent artists. OG, TaMara E, Just Will, and other thriving as independent creators while retaining control of their music or poetry. Let's see. Actionable suggestions provided, emphasize cost-saving methods, managing funds effectively, using dedicated accounts for grants, venture outside familiar networks to reach broader audiences, focus on content tailored to high engagement environments like strip clubs with short, impactful tracks, time and money saving knowledge, saving money, avoiding hitting costs with well-researched tools, leveraging grants and consultations to offset initial expenses, saving time, streamlined advice on platforms and strategies, avoid trial and error processes, insights, and balancing high-ticket services with creative pursuits. Value of knowledge provided. This chatting capsules high-value insights tailored to both creative and business aspects of the music industry. If monetized, this knowledge could easily range from $500 to $1,000 per client, depending on the level of detail, implementation support, and one-on-one consulting offered. Complementary knowledge gain, deep understanding of marketing platforms, their uses, costs, and how to maximize their potential. Industry-specific advice, breaking into the music industry with independence and sustainability in mind. Strategic networking tips, building a broader audience and targeting high-impact niches. Grant writing 101, exploring new funding avenues and properly managing grant funds. Takeaways. Let's see here. All right, so this consultation provides a comprehensive framework for navigating the music industry and business with purpose and efficiency. The guidance saves significant time and thousands of dollars, showcasing the importance of strategy, independence, and leveraging the right tools. This is a priceless foundation for anyone serious about their creative and entrepreneurial goals. Personalized strategy. If you would like help strategizing, I can do that. You would just get with me on my Patreon page, patreon.com/P.A.T.H.S. But that's what we have discussed. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me and tuning in. I hope it helped. It was a struggle when I first got started, and like I said, I had no clue what I was doing, but I learned a lot along the way. And so I just wanted to share that information with you. Oh, thank you, darling. I appreciate that. Thank you all for tuning in. Mwah. I am going to wrap up this session because I'm about to get started on politics here after I take a quick 5-minute break. But thank you, DeCeasy. I am so glad that you like that. I'll be putting the word over there on my Patreon page if you want to see it there. It is free to join, or you'd be able to see it over there. I mean, I do have tiers, but it would be free to, that would be free information if you were to need to review it and look at it later. Okay. All right. Thank you all. I didn't plan to spend an hour and 20 minutes, but I did. And I'm glad that I did. And if I come across anything else I find helpful, I will have another session. Okay. All right. Mwah. Awesome. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day, darling.